Alright, this is going to be quiz 14. Study guide. But it says 11-1 skills practice, so number one, you've got a triangle here that looks like this. You got a 12, you got a 10, and you got an 18. You need to find the perimeter and the area of the triangle. The perimeter is the sum of the sides. Area of a triangle is equal to 0.5 times the base times the height. The base and the height of a triangle are always perpendicular to each other. So this 18 right here is the base of the triangle. Okay? This 12 is the height. So the area is equal to 0.5 times the base, which is 18, times the height, which is 12. So 0.5 times 18 times 12 is 108. Area equals 108. There's the first part of the problem. Second part of the problem, you need the perimeter. So you need to find some missing side lengths. This is the first side you need. We'll call it x. You got to use the Pythagorean theorem to find it. So you got 10 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. And 10 squared plus 12 squared is 244. And if you square root both of those, 15.6. So 15.6 equals x. Alright, which is this side right here. Now, to find the third side of this triangle, you have to use this entire side. And you have to use this side to find, we'll call it C. Okay? So you got your 18 plus your 10. So you got 28 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared. $928 equals C squared. So 30.4. Actually, it's 30.5. 30.5 is equal to C. So this up here is a 30.5. So your perimeter is going to be equal to the 30.5 plus the 18 plus the 12. I'm sorry. It's going to be the 30.5 plus the 15.6 plus the 18. Alright? So the perimeter is going to be 30.5 plus 15.6 plus 18. And that is 64.1. So there's your perimeter, there's your area. Number two. Number two is a parallelogram. Okay, if this left side is 4, the right side is 4. And if the top's 5.5, then this whole bottom is 5.5. So your perimeter is going to be equal to 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 5.5 plus 5.5 is 11. So your perimeter is 19. Your area is going to be equal to the base times the height. Your base is 5.5. You need the height, which is right here. In a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, the short leg of that little triangle is half its hypotenuse. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. The long leg, which represents the height, is equal to this number times the square root of 3. So 2 times the square root of 3. That is the height of that parallelogram. So area equals base 5.5 times height, which is 2 times the square root of 3. So the area of that parallelogram is equal to 19.1. Perimeter is equal to 19. Number 3. Okay, perimeter. If the left side's 7, the right side's 7. If the top's 14, the bottom's 14. So 2 7s is 14, plus 2 14s is 28. Perimeter is equal to 42. The area is equal to the base times the height. So your area is going to be equal to the base, which is 14, times the height, which is right here. Now, in this 45, this is also 45. 45, 45, 90, right triangle. It's a special right triangle. If the hypotenuse is 7, then both of these sides are equal to 7 divided by the square root of 2. So your height is equal to 7 divided by the square root of 2. So the area of the parallelogram equals 14 times 7 divided by the square root of 2. And that is equal to 69.3. So perimeter 42, area 69.3. Yes? Number 4. Another parallelogram. With another 45-degree angle. Okay, you get left side's 22, top's 26. If the left's 22, the right's 22. If the top's 26, the bottom's 26. So the perimeter is going to be equal to 22 times 2 is 44. And 26 times 2 is 52. And 44 plus 52 is 96. Your area is going to be equal to your base times your height. So your base is 26. Your height is right here. So same rule as the last problem. Hypotenuse divided by square root of 2 gives you both legs of a 45, 45, 90. So your height is 22 divided by square root of 2. So 26 times 22 divided by the square root of 2, that's 404.5. 5. Five is just a square. You got 4 90-degree angles and you got 4 congruent sides. If one of the sides is 3.4, they're all 3.4. So the perimeter equals 3.4 times 4. And 3.4 times 4 is 13.6. And the area is equal to one of the sides squared. It's a square, so 3.4 squared. And 3.4 squared is 11.6. Number 6 is a parallelogram again, but it's a rectangle. Top's 18.5, so the bottom's 18.5. Left side is 9, and the right side's 9. Perimeter is equal to 9 plus 9, which is 18, plus 18.5 plus 18.5. That's probably 37. And 18 plus 37 is 55. Your area is equal to the base times the height. Here's your base. Here's your height. So it's 18.5 times 9. And 18.5 times 9 is 166.5. Number 7. Alright, here your height is going to be in a little different position. So alright, so the top's 30, which means the bottom's 30. The right side's 20, which means the left side's 20. This angle is 60 degrees right here. What that means is that this triangle on the left, or the upper left, is a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So this portion of that triangle is half of its hypotenuse, so it would be 15. The long leg of that triangle is the height of the parallelogram that you need. And that's equal to the short leg, 15, times the square root of 3. So your perimeter is equal to 2 20s is 40, and 2 30s is 60, and 40 plus 60 is 100. Now your area is going to be equal to, here's your base, and here's your height. The base and the height are always perpendicular. Okay, so you got 20 times 15 times the square root of 3. And 20 times 15 times the square root of 3 is 519.6. So there's your area, and there's your perimeter. Number 8. Alright, in number 8, you've got a right triangle with two congruent sides. If a right triangle has two legs that are equal to each other, that makes it a 45, 45, 90. If these two legs are equal to each other, then these two angles are equal to each other. And if those two angles are equal to each other and they got to add up to 90, then they're 45 degrees each. Now, in a special right triangle, a 45, 45, 90, the leg, one of the legs, times the square root of 2 is the hypotenuse. All the other information is in the problem. So your perimeter is going to be equal to 17 plus 17 plus 17 times the square root of 2. And that is 58. Area of a triangle equals 0.5 times the base times the height. 17 is your base and 17 is your height. They're perpendicular to each other. So your area is equal to 0.5 times 17 times 17. It's 144.5. Area, perimeter. Yes. Number 9 says that the height of a parallelogram is 10 feet more than a base. Height is 10 feet more than the base, so the height equals the base plus 10. The area of the parallelogram is equal to 1200. The formula for the area of a parallelogram is that area equals the base times the height. So if you take what h is equal to and what a is equal to and substitute them into this formula, you're going to get 1200 equals the base times the height, which is b plus 10. Now you have to do the distributive property. So your 1200 equals b squared plus 10b. Now you've got to get everything on the same side of the equal sign. So you're going to subtract 1200 from each side. So 0 is going to equal b squared plus 10b minus 1200. And now you're going to do the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula says that b is equal to, in this case, the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Whatever is in front of the b squared, that's your a. Whatever's in front of the b, that's your b. And whatever's out here by itself is your c. So you take those values and you substitute them into this portion of the formula. So b is equal to the opposite of your b value. Your b value is 10, so it's negative 10 plus or minus the square root of b squared. If b is 10, 10 squared is 100. Minus, you got 4 times a, your a is 1, times c, which is negative 1200. So you got 4 times 1 times negative 1200. All of that gets divided by 2 times your A, which is 1, so it gets divided by 2. So your B is equal to the opposite of 10 plus or minus the square root. When you do 100 minus 4 times 1 times negative 1200 in your calculator, all of this in the parentheses is negative 4800. So you get 100 minus negative 4800. And you keep change. So you get 100 plus 4800, which is 4900. All divided by 2. The square root of 4900 is equal to 70. So B is equal to negative 10 plus or minus 70 over 2. Alright, so you got to break this apart now. You got negative 10 plus 70 over 2, and you got negative 10 minus 70 over 2. Negative 10 plus 70 is 60, divided by 2 is 30. Negative 10 minus 70 is negative 80, divided by 2 is negative 40. Since you were solving for the base of a parallelogram, you're not going to use the negative 40, because you can't have a negative dimension in any kind of a shape. Alright? So you go back up here, and the base is equal to, let's see, the base is equal to 30, and the height is equal to the base plus 10. So your height's equal to 40. And number 10. In number 10, you're told that the base of a triangle is half the height. So the base of the triangle equals 1/2 of the height. If the area of the triangle is 196, area equals 196. Find the base and height. Okay, base equals half the height, area equals 196. Area of a triangle is equal to 0.5 times the base times the height. So again, you substitute. The area is 196. The base is 1/2 times the height, so the base is half of h, and the height is the height. So 196 is going to equal 0.5 times 1/2. You're finding half of a half. That's 1/4. And h times h is h squared. If you divide both sides by 1/4, 196 divided by 1/4 is 784 equals h squared. And then you can find the square root of both sides. And 28 is equal to h. H is your height. The base is equal to half the height. 28 is the height, then 14 is equal to the base. So there's your base and height. And that concludes study guide number 14, aka 11-1 skills practice.